Drive shaft.
I've not got this very well at all.
Oh, well done.
So the Mustang is broken. Again. So we've got some upgrades to do to it.
You want to tell them what?
No, I'm not telling them what the upgrades are, no. First issue that you may have noticed is very low, the back here. Suspension collapsed, I think, I don't know. We haven't had a look at it yet. We bought a coilover kit to sort this out, so I imagine it's probably going to sit this height all around now. That should be good. One of the other issues we're having is this. Not very bitey. I mean, the car's off and you can't really tell that at the moment. But you just have to take my word for it. Slippy. Needs new clutch. We have bought a clutch. Christopher, bring me the clutch.
It's behind him.
Imagine clutch. So that also needs replacing. And then a lot of polybushes. All the polybushes? Is it all?
We haven't got the gearbox ones.
We haven't got the gearbox polybushes. Have we got engine mount? The box says suspension on it, so it's for the suspension. Yeah, showing gearbox and engine, not a problem. Yeah, that adds character. The squeaky, unsettled suspension is something that we need to sort.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get this on the ramp and we're gonna start on the clutch.
This goes in there. I'm not the mechanic.
Right, so just inspecting this rear suspension, see why it is sitting so low. Not quite sure at the moment. So the shock mount is still there. The shock seems lower than usual, but I think maybe the spring might have just, you know, been old and tired. We've looked, the shock hasn't popped the top mount out or anything like that. This spring mount looks fine. I think the spring just looks more compressed than it should be, so I'm gonna guess it's just an old tired spring. And they're probably both just the same, just old tired springs, so.
Appears to be a Bellhausen.
Yeah. We're going to drop the exhaust, the drive shaft, get all that out, and then we can split the transmission from the bell housing, take the transmission out, take the bell housing off, get the clutch off, see what the flywheel looks like, take that off as well because we need to get to the rear main seal because as you can maybe make out on camera, there's a lot of oil here. There's also a lot of oil here. While we've got the exhaust off, we're also going to change the back boxes on it because they are really big and scrape on the floor, and we're planning on putting coilovers on this and making it lower. It'll probably scrape more. First thing to drop is the exhaust.
Freezing. Let me out. The most important part of removing the exhaust is the wheel. No, he's found it.
What's that noise? So just a quick behind the scenes for you viewers. Just behind me, Chris is currently trying to ollie a 2x4 instead of holding the exhaust.
So saying hold the exhaust.
Okay. So we've got a conga line of people holding up an exhaust. Right, Chris, you good, yeah?
Yeah, just wiggling it out. What are you doing now?
Is this just on me?
I'm holding it. Why are we doing this? You can do this normal. You want to try and get the followers or okay. Drive shaft removal. Drive shaft removal cream. Is your shaft stuck to something?
If at all possible, never be on camera again. There goes nothing. Oh, it's coming. There you go. Right, so I figured out what was making the car low. I hit the shock absorber up here with this fine tuning piece of wood, and it just suddenly shot down. So I think what was happening was the shock was binding up. Kind of weird. Obviously it was just bound up at the back, and because it's a straight axle, like it was making the whole rear end funny. So we fixed that, but we're still going to fit coilovers anyway. As you can see here outside the ramp, it's now, the back end has now gone up. It's back up high again, like back to its standard height. Strange. Anyway, I'm going to carry on getting this drive shaft off.
Drive shaft. Wow.
That didn't hit you, did it?
No. Be careful, you know. I said that could fall. Did it just fall?
Yep.
Yeah. And I just caught it.
Yeah. Don't let that come out, because
no, I'm pushing it against it.
It'll start pouring fluid all over the place, and we'll be all coated in transmission fluid.
Delicious transmission.
I'll cry because I hate transmission fluid.
Hey Dave, did you know that liquid tastes like watermelon?
Does it?
Yeah, taste it.
Yeah.
Have a smell. Oh, it smells nice.
You know, good with that.
Oh, I think we're cool. Carl.
Oh, right. Okay, so it's got sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it smells like
That
that.
You look confused, though.
That smells
I
weird.
know I look confused, that's because it smells kind of metallic as well, but you did just rub it off with a piece of metal.
So now all the plugs are unplugged. All we have to do is remove this cable for the clutch, which is behind this cover. And then we've got the transmission mount to remove and the 4 bolts that actually hold the transmission to the bell housing. Okay, yeah, we're good. Right, so that's for the eyelet now. Then this should just pull through there. Great.
It's very attached to that.
Okay. One started to move. There we go. Yes. Just to put this down a switch. Okay, so it's now fell out of there. Are we up there? There we are. Right. Are you free?
You're free.
Are you? I've not got this very well at all, Christopher. So now we have a T5 transmission. Out. Oh, Fox body.
We remind them every time we pull a part off that it's a Fox body.
I won't shill for anymore. So I think it's on dowels. This shouldn't be heavy at all, mate. Is you an idiot? There you go. Come on. Go off the dowel. Release from the dowel. Hang on. I'm gonna clutch this. There we go. the bright light in my eyes. So now that we've got everything apart, you can see that the flywheel is not very good. It's got hot spots around it. The surface finish is terrible. We were going to try and get it resurfaced, but they're not going to be able to resurface the hot spots and everything out of it. So we're going to go get a new one. Quite difficult to find these in the UK, but we've found a guy that has some. It's going to be a couple of weeks till we can get that. But for now, we're going to take this flywheel off. We're going to replace the rear main seal, and then after that, we're going to start on the suspension, which is all the bushes and the coilovers. Okay. Taking bets on loser gets hit with a flywheel. I know what you like. You'll say hold it properly and then drop it. And you've got a flex plate as well. Nice. Not a flex plate, you know what I mean? Yeah, rear main seal. Damp. I don't think that's the main oil leak of this car. He says looking at a lot more oil, but it's an oil leak, and while we're here and we have all this off, it'd probably be a good idea for us to change this. Yay. One. Is that in camera?
It is now.
Removed rear main seal. Okay, so I'm just gonna have a wipe around in there, put some fresh oil on the new one, and then put that in. Ooh.
It's a circle you found.
Yeah. So that's about as far as we can get with this now that we've fitted the rear main seal. Unfortunately, we don't have a flywheel that's any good, so we'll be waiting to get one of them. So we're going to start on the suspension. We've got the coilovers to fit, and we've got some polybushes as well. So I think we'll start at the rear.
Is it recorded?
Yes. Right, we're about to stand. That was awful. That's awful. Right. So for the rear suspension, we have polybushes for all of the arms, and we also have a shock and a spring. The spring's adjustable height. So we're going to start tearing into this, get the wheel off, start getting the suspension off. While I'm here doing the rear end of this car, I will also, under extreme duress, adjust the handbrake. I would like the viewers to know that I really didn't want to do this because I found it funny that Chris panicked every time he came to a hill. I guess he probably should have a working handbrake. I'll have a look at that, maybe think about adjusting it if Chris behaves himself. Don't fight again. Smack in the face. There you go. There we go, finally. Muy excelente. Anyway, I'm recording now, Chris. So, I'm recording now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now that we have one of the rear arms, the lower one, it's time to start trying to get these bushes out, which is going to be fun. I think I'm going to try using a drill or something, drilling into it, try and get these center parts out, then try and get the whole rear bush out, clean the insides of these, press a nice poly bush into there, and I also think while they're out, I might clean this arm up and paint it. Paint it with some paint. Love the smell of burning rubber at 4 p.m. So it is moving. Okay, I got it moving. There we go.
And the drill bit.
The end of a few drill bits have just come out, and when this finally releases, it's going to fire this thing across the workshop. Took a lot, but it's now out. I thought about maybe heating up with a torch, see if that works. I don't know. Let's see what happens. So we finally got the arm. It's all painted up now. Gave it a quick blast with some black paint. Took a lot to get these bushes out, to be honest. Tried burning them, cutting them, using the press. In the end, it was a combination of setting them on fire and pushing them out and cutting them at the same time that worked to get these out. I tried a lot of different ways. I apologise for my voice, by the way. I've been not very well. So you're going to hear a lot of that. Yeah, so now I've got it ready. I'm going to push some new bushes into this, get the polybushes into here, grease them up and everything, and we can get this arm back on the car, move on to the top arm for this side, and then we can do the other side afterwards. So I'm trying to hit that in. Sort of goes in kind of by hand. And then after that, you kind of need to push it with a clamp. Sliding nicely. I should be able to start pushing this in. Yep. So I've got it most of the way. And there we go, we're in. The funny shape one, yep, that should just push. Oh, that one pushes straight in. Boom, like that. There we go, that is our lower arm painted, new bushes pushed in. I'm going to fit this back on the car and we will get the top one off now as well. There we go. So that is the upper. Try not to choke to death while saying it this time. Upper arm removed. Got this pushing to get out of the axle, which will be probably a difficult one. Probably try and work out some sort of puller for that. And then get that painted, everything, get this back on. So, in an effort to remove this bush here, I have made this contraption. It is a bolt through a big piece of metal, and it's got a couple of washers on the end, and on this end it's got some sort of pulley from something. It appears to be sort of pulling the bush through. I'm not sure if it's actually going to work yet, but I will update you if it does. Finally got this bush out. My makeshift tool has appeared to have done the job, so I'm gonna clean up the inside of the housing now, and then I'm gonna go and press in the new one. So now that I've got both these arms back on, I'm going to go and remove the other arms on the other side. So I'll get the arms on the other side done, and then we can put the new springs and shocks on.
There we go.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense, really, when you think about it. Alright, so there we go. That's all the lower arms, upper arms of the axle installed. Great.
That's the spring. No, you don't drink out of it. That's it. You look down.
So time to fit springs and the shocks. Springs have got this helpful little bit on. It's an adjuster, but it also, this adjuster, unlike a lot of adjusters I've seen, has like a little plate that holds it into the top part, which is good. So get this plate and adjuster bolted in, and then once I've got this adjuster and everything bolted in, fit the spring, fit the shock, do it on the other side, fix the brakes or the handbrake, put the wheels back on, and then the back end can go back down on the ground. Springs in. Once we get the new shock in, it should go up. Got it currently set on the minimum height adjustment because I refuse to set this any higher than that because it's Chris's car, therefore not my problem.
Just through. Leave it unattended, not paying attention.
Rear shock, the mount is there. Somebody has maybe cut a hole, maybe this is a factory hole, I don't know Fox bodies all that well. So Christopher, if you could pass me maybe a 13mm long socket, please. Please, Christopher.
I'm standing like a
Stop
penguin.
tucking your shirt in.
I'll try not to scratch the terrible paint.
I think I have the 13 actually. Hang on. The trick, isn't it? Send Chris for the tool you have. Nope, that's the perfect size. Right, so the problem I've got is it's just spinning the whole shock. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, Les, a life would be helpful. My pocket is going off. Is this a phone call?
Is it a bolt header or not? So after some investigation, I think that there's a problem with the handbrake mechanism in this. It seems to be seizing up a little bit. And also, this isn't sitting on the adjuster down here. Going to start taking this apart, get this spring off, get this shoe off, get down into here and see if we can grease the back of the handbrake mechanism. Maybe it might work a bit better. Right, so after going through the braking system a bit more, realised that these, I believe they're quadrants, were the problem. They were very, very dirty. You can see I'm cleaning them up, re-greased them. The cable through the eyelet over here, you know, moves smoothly. No real issues there. This one as well. Well, the cables are moving smoothly. These were really well gunked up, so they weren't actually moving very well, and the cable wasn't sliding very well along them. So I've re-greased them, cleaned them up, and now I'm just going to put these back together and then put the drum brakes back together as well. Goes on. So the nicest suspension component that's going on the car is the quad shocks. So that's a new quad shock installed. So all we've got to do now is fit the one on the other side. So last thing we've got to do for the suspension is put the anti-roll bar back on, and then other than that we can put the wheels back on it and we can put it back on the floor, and we can see how low the back end's going to be. And because I've got these adjusters wound all the way down, I imagine it's going to be too low. So luckily we managed to go and pick up a flywheel. I think it was last week or the week before, I don't know. Time's blending into one. Working on this car. Flywheel's got to go back on. Clutch has got to go back on. Bell housing's got to go back on. Gearbox has got to go back on. Drive shaft's got to go back on. All of these connectors have got to go back on. Starter motor's got to go back on. Mount for the gearbox has got to go back on. There's a few things that need to go back on. Best put this on before I put the flywheel on. There we go, that's lined up. Put bolting just to hold it in. shame it has this nice, like, powder coated pressure plate when you're never going to see it.
I know. Shit.
It looks nice when you're fitting it at least. Okay. Oh, that's weird. There's the other door. Excellent. Bell housing in. Now it'll be time for the gearbox. Probably should have grabbed a jack. What was that? Yeah. You got this?
Possibly.
If I go and grab a jack?
Yeah, I should be good.
You good? You sure?
I'm good, yeah. Just don't do it again.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, it's twisting it. No, not far. Right, let go. Let go. A bit more wiggle on the transmission. Okay, right. Close. What was that?
Can we let go, or is it?
Yeah, you can let go. I didn't realise you were still clapping it.
I know in theory I should be able to let go.
Tomorrow, I'm gonna get the drive shaft in, then we're gonna start, getting the exhaust up, get that back on, and then from there, it's gonna be the front suspension that I move on to after that. So, as it turns out, I'm an idiot, and I fitted this transmission mount upside down. Thought something was wrong about it yesterday. It was quite late when I fitted it, that's my defence. And then, yeah, I came to it this morning, looked at it and thought, I don't think that's right at all. And then, yeah, it's upside down. So I'll just quickly jack it back up, unbolt it, flip that round. It's now on the correct way. So now it is time to put the drive shaft back in. And then fill the gearbox up with oil. I'll be honest, I'm mainly telling you guys so I remember. Alright, just filling the gearbox with ATF now. Oh no, it's leaking. You got it? I also don't want to put all the pressure on the manifolds. Seems good enough for me. As long as it holds it, sort of. Not as loud as
one it had no exhaust, but at least the silencers are smaller, I guess.
So that's it for part 1 of this video. In part 2, you're going to see us continue to fit the rest of the suspension and the polybushes, and we also have some subframe connectors to fit. Then, after all that's done, we're going to go racing again and see if any of that's made it any faster. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.